Caption, sir. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. I request everybody to kindly put their cell phones on silent mode. Thank you. Namaste. Konnichiwa. Advance apologies in case for any aberrations from my end in the course of the ceremony. Respected Professor Dr. Uday Saruke, Group Director, Principal Ellen Wellington Institute of Management Development and Research, our esteemed guests, Dr. Yasukata Fukuhori, Consul General of Japan in Mumbai, Mr. Noritaka Tauchi, Consul for Culture and Information Section at the Consulate General of Japan in Mumbai, Ms. Vanessa Kolako, Officer, Consulate General of Japan in Mumbai, also an alumna of WE School, faculty members, staff members, and their students. I, Dr. Sonal Daulatkar, extend a warm welcome to you for the book donation ceremony for the Read Japan project. Thank you for joining us today. May I now request Dr. Sarunke sir to kindly present the token of gratitude to our esteemed guests. Thank you, sir. We are grateful to have received 155 books under the Nippon Foundation's Read Japan project, entrusted to and carried out by Japan Publishing Industry Foundation for Culture. This collection involves varied subjects of Japanese genres such as management, culture, fiction, design, and many others. The Nippon Foundation is headquartered in Tokyo, and it provides humanitarian and educational support to people in difficult circumstances in Japan and countries around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to introduce the Group Director of SP Mandali's Principal Ellen Wellington Institute of Management Development and Research, also known as WE School, Professor Dr. Uday Sarunke. An edupreneur, thought leader, and turnaround specialist, Dr. Sarunke's passion for leadership, design thinking, and innovation has helped WE School carve itself a niche in the space of management education. He has extensive years of experience both in academia and the corporate world, and he's a recipient of several awards. He has the distinction of being the recipient of the prestigious Eisenhower Fellowship USA, which identifies, empowers, and links leaders across the globe, empowering them further to make the much needed impact. Sir is an alumnus of the WE School, and he is also an alumnus of the Association for Overseas Technical Cooperation and Sustainable Partnerships, AOTS Japan. He is on board of many national and international organizations. Dr. Sarunke is currently the chairman of the Education Committee of the Council of EU Chambers of Commerce in India, chairperson of the Review Commission of the Gujarat National University, member of the Academic Council and General Counsel of the Maharashtra National Law University. Formerly, Dr. Sarunke has been the president of Association of Indian Management Schools, AIMS. He was the chairman of the Local Managing Committee, Association of Management Development Institutions in South Asia, AMDISA, the India chapter. Sir, I request you to kindly address us all.
Dr. Sonal, thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our chief guest for the evening, Dr. Yasukata Fukuhori, Consul General of Japan in Mumbai, and Mr. Noritaka Tauchi, Vice Consul for Culture and Information Section in the Consulate in Mumbai, and Vanessa Vanessa Kolako. She is our alumnus and she's an officer at consulate. That's really nice. All deans, program heads, program in charge, faculty colleagues, staff members, and the most important, the students who are physically present in the campus, as well as students who are online and enjoying this from the campus. And I must mention here, this is a great privilege for us. And I just now mentioned to Honorable Consul General that this is the first public function which we are doing in V School campus after last 1.5 years. So thank you very much, sir. We started our campus just on 29th of December last month with the senior batch who were very enthusiastic to come here and join. But I'm really feeling nice that I'm going back down the memory lane before 15th of March when we were absolutely active. Post that also we were active, but in different sense, but in virtual sense as well. So I must really mention here the way in which we were close to Japan and we are close to Japan. And I did mention to both our guests today, Consul General and Vice Consul as well, that this is indeed a rejuvenation of our memories. And Dr. G, as you all know, Dr. G was always the centerpiece when we look East as a philosophy for us as a V School. And Japan was always a best friend nation for us. And almost we started that journey 25 years back with many, many milestones. And I'm glad that we are getting into the phase again to renew. For the knowledge of our young students, that we had program with Japan, which was 1 year in India and 2nd year in Japan. As you all know that we are one of the most pioneering and experimentation-driven business school in the country and in the globe. As a part of that journey, nobody could imagine those days. It was premature, ahead on the curve. But today's time was probably more ripe after Prime Minister Abe took over, and in Abe administration regime, this would have been the best, but we were ahead on the curve. But it doesn't matter. I think the way in which our students learned, we ourselves learned, was absolutely out of the world. And Dr. Sonal did mention about I am an alumnus of Association of Overseas Technical Scholarships. Likewise, Dr. G was there before me, and we shared those many opportunities with our students. They did many programs under AOTS on Toyota Production Systems, TPS, TPM, on Kaizen, Gemba Kaizen, and a lot of other kind of thought processes which are kind of pioneering in Japan, and the world learned from Japan. As well as we had many, I'll say, leading thought leaders from Japan. When Dr. Yoshio Kondo taught us so much, he was a Deming Prize winner, individual and even for company. And he was a very leading kind of, I'll say, the talent leader in Jusei of Japan. And the way in which MITI of Japan, Ministry of Industry and Trade of Japan, played role to give opportunity to developing countries. And AOTS did almost give those days 75,000 scholarships across the world. And somewhere deep down, I feel this Read Japan project is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. When I've got this kind of information, and I did share with our Sandeep, Dr. Sandeep Bhausar. I don't know if Sandeep is here. Sandeep is here, and Sandeep, we must congratulate Sandeep and his team for taking the lead from our Learning Resource Center from a library. And we thought, let's go ahead. And we must also kind of thank Nippon Foundation for doing this honor. We are there investing from almost 2008. Somewhere deep down, I really feel reading of good books is like a conversation, is like a chat, is like a dialogue. And that too with the finest minds. And selection of books by Nippon Foundation, when I was going through different categories, those books are maybe from education, maybe from industry, maybe from culture. And it's absolutely very heterogeneous topics. And you will find those are really interesting. I could glance through at least summary of some of the books. And it's indeed a great honor for our trust, Public Charitable Trust, SP Mandali, which is our apex body, as well as for V School, that to receive such kind of gift of wisdom from Japan, our best friend nation. Books will lead the future generation. Specifically, I'll say for the students, for researchers, for scholars, for opinion leaders, and all the like-minded nations must come together for the future of the globe. And in that thought process, I'm more than confident that our relationship, India's relationship with Japan, unfortunately, prime ministers of both the countries are absolutely very much in sync with. And that our relationship, our partnership will move at the speed of Shinkansen, our bullet train in India. I'm sure we always used to talk about Shinkansen and learning from Shinkansen, even in the railway stations. But this definitely Read Japan project will motivate our students, will give the glimpse or insights to our students into Japanese culture, Japanese practices, and how probably we can learn from there. And not to say, but definitely it will enrich a library all the time. After receiving this, I was going through the monkey magazines, monkey business kind of magazines, and those are also very insightful and kind of readers which are there across the world is quite a bit. So with this, I'm going to take a pause, and I must urge all our students who are present here physically as well as online, please leverage this opportunity. And I've requested Honorable Consul General with respect to how we can extend our relationship in future with the universities in Japan, with the companies in Japan, be it for any short-term project, internships, or long-term projects, we'll be more than happy. And also, I've given an open invitation from our side on behalf of our team that anyone from Japan coming down to India from industry or maybe universities will be happy to host them, happy to have their guest sessions here. And the top of it, Honorable Consul General and Honorable Vice Consul, both of them have agreed to come here as a lecturer, as a professor, as a visiting professor. So thank you very much. And I requested Jessel that to see that their convenience and maybe in first quarter of 2022 itself, at the earliest, we need not to delay, Jessel, but at the earliest, what a best way we can start going ahead with this our relationship, and having a Consul General with such a positive mindset and such an open-mindedness is our kind of, we are fortunate to have that. So let's work on this project together and be together as both the nations, as like one nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I request Dr. G to kindly present a token of gratitude to Ms. Vanessa Kolako. Thank you, sir. I take privilege in introducing Mr. Noritaka Tauchi, Culture Council at the Consulate General of Japan, Mumbai. Mr. Noritaka Tauchi earned his Master's of Science in Physics from Keio University and completed his postgraduate diploma from Middlesex University, UK in 2018. He earned his certifications of Information Security Specialist and Applied Information Technology Engineer, and he serves in the Consulate General of Japan in Mumbai after his experience in National Police Agency, Japan. Sir shall be throwing light on the Read Japan project. I request Tauchi-san to kindly address us all.
Hello. Okay. Dr. Salunke, Group Director of Wellington Institute, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for having such a wonderful ceremony for Read Japan project today. And thank you, Dr. Sonal, for introducing me to all of you. So it's my honor and pleasure to be here with you today. I'd like to give you a short introduction about Read Japan project. Okay. Over the years, various efforts have been made by Japanese government authorities and other organizations to promote understanding of Japan in foreign countries. However, the understanding and interest toward Japan among opinion leaders in other countries is not sufficient, and there was a need to further strengthen the dissemination of information relating to Japan. As you know, books are one of the most best media for disseminating information. So since 2008, the Nippon Foundation has been donating carefully selected English language books on Japan to libraries and research institutes around the world, with the aim of promoting understanding of Japan among foreign opinion leaders and researchers who do not specialize in Japanese studies. According to the project, we introduced it to you last year, and you applied to the project. The institute applied to the project. Unfortunately, the institute failed to be selected by the Nippon Foundation because of budgetary limits last year. But the Nippon Foundation assured us that they are going to donate books to the institute next year's project. As they said, the Wellington Institute was chosen as the recipient of the donation this year. The books donated are full of insight into Japan, as well as knowledge and information that will help to shape the future of our society. Although I'm not sure whether you are interested in Japan and Japanese culture or not, but I hope the books would be read by you. And we also hope that Dr. Salunke would help your students deepen their understanding of Japan. Finally, Indian culture and Japanese culture is very similar, so we can understand each other better than other countries. And it seems not difficult for us to deepen mutual understanding and friendship between Japan and India. We hope that this ceremony will encourage you to take an interest toward Japan and Japanese culture. Thank you.
ありがとうございます、Tauchi-san. I feel honored to introduce Dr. Yasukata Fukahori, Consul General of Japan in Mumbai. After completing his bachelor's in economics from Waseda University, he joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Japan and held office in different capacities around the world in the Embassy of Japan. He completed his Master's of Science in 1999. He went on to complete his PhD in environmental economics. He served as a director in different divisions of Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Japan. He has a wide experience all across the world in embassies and consulates and has links with many top universities. It's indeed an honor to have you with us today. I request you, sir, to kindly address us all.
Thank you for the kind introduction. I'm Fukahori, Consul General of Japan here in Mumbai. Namaste. Kahahe. I'm so happy to be here in India again and in Mumbai. I spent actually, before I go down to a book donation part, I need to read out the message from Sasaka Foundation. But before I read out, I need to talk a little bit about India-Japan relations. I was in New Delhi about 10 years ago. I spent 3 years. And then during that time, I came to like India very much. So I requested my ministry to send me back to India once again. And then they decided to send me back to here in Mumbai, which is even more luckier for me. New Delhi was a nice city. I had many good friends, but here in Mumbai, I felt that climate is actually better here in Mumbai. And then people seems to be more friendly here. So that even though that I had a hard time under COVID-19, I have having a very, very good time here in Mumbai for the past 6 months. So that, I'm going to stay here for another 2-3 years, and then I'm going to enormously enjoy myself here with you and other people. And one of the area I would like to expand is the academic exchange. We need to expand more in that field. Recently, Japan found that India is the very reliable and promising partner of Japan, particularly based on the personal relationship between Prime Minister Abe and Prime Minister Modi. They had a very good private relations. Based on that, understanding between two countries have substantially deepened. So now the Japanese people have more affection toward Indian people and India as a whole. Then Japanese companies also found that India is the reliable and trusted and promising market for the Japanese companies. At this moment, there are a few hundred companies located here in Mumbai. And then I've been talking with them almost every day. And then I have a great feeling that they have a strong intention to expand their investment into Mumbai. So year after year, I can guarantee that there will be more Japanese companies located here in Mumbai and all other India. So you are learning Japanese Kaizen technique and other management technique of Japan. You'll be able to contribute to those Japanese companies here. So you will be able to find jobs offered by the Japanese companies in Mumbai and India. And furthermore, Japanese government has relaxed our door for foreign workers a few years back because our population is shrinking, while Indian population is still increasing, and then they are producing very, very young, capable workforces. Japanese labor market is shrinking, so that we are wishing to introduce more foreign workers into Japanese labor market. That's why that we open the door for foreigners. And then Indian workers, Indian students, they are very intelligent and capable people. Japanese companies are looking to employ more Indian people. So that if you are interested in working in Japan, you have a huge possibilities for you to come to Japan and work in Japan. So from that point of view, that Japan-India relation is going to be deepened strongly further for many years to come. And then while I'm here, I'd like to expand Indian-Japan relations in many ways. Like Mr. Tao said, that our cultural relations also need to expand more so that we can understand each other more. At this moment, that I found that the Japan-India relation is a little bit lagged behind our Japan, East Asia, Southeast Asian countries relations. We have more economic and cultural relation with the countries like Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, or Malaysia. But India has a bright future. Everyone understands rightly that Japan-India relation will be much more developed. So that with that hope in mind, I'd like to do my job here in Mumbai. Just wonder that how many of you have been to Japan? Please raise a hand. Okay, some of you. How many of you have wished to visit Japan in the near future? Thank you, all of you. So that I'm pleased. I'm sure that your wish will come true if you just wish and make a plan. But as I said, that Japanese market and Japanese people are now very much welcoming Indian people. So that if you have a wish, you can make your wish come true very easily. Since that I have a little bit more time, I speak a little bit about my study about Japan, India. I was talking with the professor and other people before I came here. That I studied a lot about India before I came here. I read Mahabharata, Ramayana as a start, and then I read Bhagavad Gita, of course, and then I read Rig Veda, most of them. And then I came to read Manusmriti, which is very interesting book about Hinduism. And also I read Upadesha Suhasri by Shankara. But I was had the impression that not many Indian people actually read those books by Shankara. These are very important books, but not. It doesn't seem to be very popular nowadays. But however, there's a translation of Upadesha Sahasri in Japanese language in Japan, so that I acquired this Upadesha Sahasri by Shankara in Japanese language in Japan. So that all those English Indian cultures are very well introduced in Japan. And then Japanese people found a very strong similarity between Japanese culture and Hinduism. By reading Bhagavad Gita, I found a similarity between the Buddhism books like Hanya Shingyo or Hokkekyo. These Buddhism books and then Bhagavad Gita has a very strong similarity. Culture. Actually, I spent 3 years in New Delhi and spent 6 months here in Mumbai. I found that we can understand heart to heart with the Indian people. So that we have a common background as a Asian, and then we have a common background, historically speaking, in history. As you know, that the Japanese Buddhism came from India. I went to Aurangabad, and then I went to Ajat and Erol caves, and I saw Buddhism images there. Those Buddhism images in Ajanta and Erol are very similar to Buddhism images in Japan now. So that 2,500 years ago in India, and then current Japan.